I'm going to have a very quick chat about Mandukya Upanishad. This is one of the most significant Upanishads in our canon, and it's one of the shortest ones, only 12 verses in it. It's part of Atharva Veda, and its importance lies in a number of ways. One is that it is described as one of the Upanishads, one of the four Muktidan Upanishads. So something that is complete in itself to take a human being all the way to mukti or liberation. The other important aspect is that this is what Shankaracharya, Adi Shankara, based his thinking of Advait Vedanta on. So all that Advait thinking that Shankaracharya described is rooted in this particular Upanishad, heavily rooted in it, transferred through Gaudapada, and some people say influenced by the Ajatvad of Buddhism, but we leave that to scholars, not of relevance to us. We are just going to look at the core aspects of this Upanishad and why it is relevant to all of us today. The Upanishad describes four states of consciousness. The first state is the waking state, which is the state that we are in now. We are solving problems, we are engaging with the world around us. All the activities that you do in the waking state are part of this particular state of mind. The second state is the state of light sleep, where you are dreaming. So you are still engaging with the world, but not in its reality, but you're engaging with the impressions of that world that you stored in your mind during your waking states. So the mind brings up all those stored impressions and recreates reality, which feels very real, but is actually not, because you find out when you wake up that it was all a dream. The third state is that of deep sleep. Now, in this state of deep sleep, you are not aware of anything, but that emptiness is not completely without awareness, because when you wake up from very deep sleep, you are able to say, I slept so well, so deeply, that I knew nothing. So you have the awareness of knowing nothing. That awareness does not go away. So that deep sleep is described as the third state. And the fourth state, which they call Turia in this text, is the state of deep sleep, but achieved without losing awareness as one does in the sleeping mode. So you achieve that state of silence of mind, where there is no thoughts, there is no awareness except for the awareness of awareness itself. So the mechanism of your being aware is sort of turned on itself and watches itself, and there is nothing else that comes into intrude that particular perfect concentration or perfect awareness. They describe this particular state as the highest achievement of a human being. It is described as Brahma. They give a very sort of poetic, lyrical description of this state, where they say that in this state you don't know anything, you don't not know anything, and so on. The other part of this Upanishad, besides describing these four states, is talking about Om. And Om is described here in multiple ways. First, they describe it as the root of all life, as Om is in itself Brahma. It is the Atma. And then they say that Om is made up of three parts, and each part sort of represents these four waking states. So O, Ma, they represent the three states that a normal person is aware of, and the end of it represents the state of Turiya, which is the state of awareness without any thoughts, thoughtless awareness. So I think they have been taking some poetic license in describing all these properties of Om. What they actually want us to understand is that Om as a anchor for the mind is one of the simplest tools to use to achieve that fourth state of mind. So there'll be two questions here. One is it ever possible to achieve that fourth state of mind? So that question actually can be very easily answered as yes now, because we have got plenty of evidence from people who have meditated for years and years, for all their life, that they can actually achieve that emptiness of mind without losing consciousness. So we have got plenty of evidence. We have put these people in scanners with electroencephalogram leads leading from their brain. We can see that their brains are working differently, that they are having bursts of gamma waves. These are waves that for a normal person happen for a microsecond a few times a day. But for these people who are long-term meditators, their default state almost becomes gamma waves. Is the most prominent waveform in their EEGs. And of course their own descriptions of how their inner world is and how their mind operates, where it can stay silent for as long as they don't want it to do any activity, and will actually engage with the activity when any activity needs to be done. But once that activity is finished, they can again tell it to be silent. It will remain silent as long as they want it to remain silent. So yes, that state is possible. The second is Om actually one of the ways of achieving that state? Now, there are hundreds, if not more, of different practices that different schools of meditation have introduced, developed over the years to achieve those sort of higher states of mind. But Om can actually be one of the simplest ways, and I'll explain how. The idea is to achieve thoughtless awareness, okay? Now, when you are chanting Om, it's a simple sound. If you say Om, it is not going to trigger a thought, okay? If you use any other auspicious name or word, for want of a better phrase to use, if you use, say, Ram, Krishna, Govind, Shiva, all those words, all those names will trigger an act of imagination. If you say Shiva, you will imagine an image of Shiva in that posture of meditation, or in some other posture with hair like this and eyes like that and weapons like this. Same with Rama, same with Krishna. So you can't actually, or if you follow other religions, then if you think of Christ, you'll think of the cross and the Christ on the cross, and so on. So you can't actually use any other symbol in the same way as you can use Om. It's a simple sound, so it sort of can be repeated again and again very easily. It has sort of this resonating quality to it that can be held for long periods. So you can do sort of very long chants of Om. So the vibration it induces is actually also calming in its effect. And as long as you are making this particular sound, your mind will be incapable of bringing up any other thought. In the beginning, it won't lead to thoughtlessness. In the beginning, it'll just allow your mind, which is used to being full of thoughts all the waking hours, become or have small parts, few seconds, few minutes, where it is getting used to not having thoughts. And as you keep doing it, you keep moving from very audible practice of saying Om to imagining it being said silently, whispering it almost. And then from there, going further back, imagining the sound in your head without moving the vocal apparatus as you would do in whispering. So you are shifting to deeper and deeper states of silence in your mind, and this practice can actually, by all accounts, from what I've heard and from my own experience of it, can lead to moments of silence. So the Upanishad goes on to talk in quite grandiose ways about this, about the properties of this particular sound, of this particular word Om. But I think this is why they emphasize so much on it, because the people who wrote it felt that this was the simplest way of accessing that particular state of mind. So yeah, I'm sure I'm leaving out lots of important scholarly stuff here. I don't think I have left out an experiential aspect of it though. So just to recap quickly, 4 states of mind: awake, dream, sleep with dreams, dreamless, deep sleep, and waking state, which is similar to that of deep sleep, that of thoughtless awareness, which they call Turia. And to achieve that Turia, to achieve that state of thoughtless awareness, you can achieve it by practicing the chanting of Om and practicing emptying your mind whilst you are chanting Om. Thank you.